Welcome to day 19 of our Fcc Advent Countdown. It's really important you go back and check day 18 out because we've made a shift here as of the 18th day to look at this week. We're doing some responsible, extra-biblical imagining and thinking and seeking and discerning because the scriptures tell us that Joseph and Mary had to travel 80 to 90 miles to get to Bethlehem because of the census that was going on. And then it kind of skips to in Bethlehem, and we don't know about that journey week and exactly what happened. We know that it was difficult and that Mary was very, very pregnant, just a few short days from giving birth. It probably took 7-8 days to make that trip. And so we're imagining together that this next 7 days, as we read up to our Christmas countdown here, that we're kind of journeying with them day by day. And so yesterday we talked about this idea of having to prepare and that God sometimes asks us to partner in hard things. Even Joseph and Mary had to do hard things. So let's see what we've got today. Ooh, today we've got a rock. Now this is not a huge rock. It's a decent sized rock, but our cabinet can only hold so much. But I want you to imagine this is a very large rock, a boulder. Let's imagine that instead of being 5 to 6 inches across, it's 5 to 6 feet across. Now, I don't know what the roads were like for Joseph and Mary. I'm sure there were roads, and perhaps they were caravanning, and people were helping to clear the road. I know it was kind of a common trip, and so I don't want to try to read too much into this. But it occurs to me that there could have been significant barriers or hindrances or hurdles on that road. There could have been downed trees or great big boulders that had rolled somehow onto the road, or at least stones that they had to try to walk over while very, very pregnant. And it occurs to me that we have this amazing takeaway when we think of that. And again, this is extra biblical. This isn't literally listed in the scripture. It's just us imagining together the hardship of this journey God sent them on intentionally. I want to take away today with you this. Just because there's a great big barrier in your way, two things, doesn't mean, like we talked about yesterday, that you're not on the path God put you on. Don't ever be fooled that if there's something hard to get through, that suddenly means it's not God's path. In fact, the opposite is often true. God asks us to step out in faith and do hard things. But the other thing is, and we don't know this, but I don't imagine that when Joseph and Mary came upon a river that they had to forge, or came across a big tree or a boulder that was down on the ground or something, I doubt they stopped and prayed and said, God, would you please move this rock? Now, it's good to pray for God to remove obstacles, and I'm not in any way suggesting you shouldn't do that, but most often, God asks us to partner with him, which means you got to get some help or get a big stick and another rock and fulcrum this thing or go around. You got to figure out a solution, and it involves hard work. So the takeaway today is this. In this life, there are going to be barriers on the path that God puts us on. We can be on the right journey, doing exactly the right thing, as Mary and Joseph were, even carrying the Messiah in the womb. We can be on a similar journey, literally or metaphorically. And when barriers come, we should not automatically assume we're in the wrong place, and we should not simply and only pray. We should pray all the time for everything. But our prayer should include, God, what can I do? Lord, use me. How can I move this rock? Would you help me? But then when you're done praying, you got to get up and, move the rock or find a way around it. So don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in one place too long if God is expecting you to do something to help move things along. Lord bless you. Merry Christmas.